Hi, I'm Tinny from Eddie Bolt Design, and I'm out in the factory this morning, Sunday morning. And you can see behind me, I'm building up a fire here, warming it up. And then I got to build beer can rings again today. That's tough because what I want to do is, I've got a can here, I've got a Vienna sausage can here. I want to build a stove I've got in my head. And I've also got some 91% ISO that I want to mix with some heat and do some experiments, some burn experiments. I do like 20% today, and if that works, do 30% tomorrow. I want to do all this stuff, but in reality, to make a living and live with myself, I got to build 10 beer can rings this morning before I do any of this stuff. And that's kind of a good thing because that'll give me something to do this afternoon, which can, sometimes afternoons can be a little bit dull because I just don't have anything to do. Poor me. Yeah. So I'll get this fire going, get those beer can rings banged out, and then we'll do a 20%, 90%, 70%, 100% thing with the ISO and the numbers. We'll do 90% ISO and heat mix. Start out with 20%. And I'm going to, in order to do this correctly, because in my mind, if I've got an ounce of heat and I put in a quarter of an ounce of ISO, I've got a 25% mix, when in reality, when you do the math on it, it actually only, I think it only actually figures out to, because when you put the ISO in, you increase the volume, so the total volume, the ISO is only 20%. So I'm going to do 100 milliliters mix. I'm going to do 80 milliliters of heat and 20 milliliters of 90% ISO. That way, it's easier for me to figure that way and get. Now I know I've got 20%. I think. Okay, I gotta get busy here. I gotta put some wood in the stove and get that lathe going. See you in a little while. Just let me get through this. Okay, now we can play. We got our 20 rings all done. So let's go play with alcohol stoves. Okay, I just started this up. It hasn't really warmed up good yet. And I've got exactly, using a syringe, I've got exactly 1 ounce of alcohol, pure heat, in here, and exactly 2 cups of 57-degree water. I've got a bucket of water outside so the temperature won't vary. And I've got a stopwatch. We've been running 1 minute and 22 seconds. And we'll see how long it takes to boil this water and how long the total burn time is. Then we'll recreate the same thing using this 20% of 90% ISO along with 80% of heat, which I have in this bottle here. And we'll see if there's any difference. Mathematically, there should be about 10% difference, which is not big. But time and unforeseen circumstances, we'll see. Okay, we're into this about 3 minutes. You can see the flame is stabilized. This is with the heat, pure heat. Okay, we achieved a rolling boil at 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And now we're going to see how long it goes before it completely burns out. Okay, this just went out with 100% ISO, 1 ounce, and the burn time was pretty much exactly 10 minutes. 5:45 to a boil and 10 minutes total burn time. Now I'm going to take the water out of this pot, let this pot cool down to the room temperature, put the 58-degree water back in it, 2 cups exactly, and put exactly 1 ounce of the ISO heat mix in and try again, see if there's any difference. Okay, I just started up the mix of the ISO and heat, Hasn't come up to temperature yet. I got my 2 cups of 57-degree water in there and the lid on. And got the stopwatch going. We'll see how this turns out. Okay, it's been running about 3 minutes. Had time to warm up. You can see there's very little difference in the flame. And we'll see when it comes to a boil. Okay, just came to a boil. And it took 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Want to give or take 3 seconds one way or the other. So my spin on this is, we'll see what the total burn time is, but boil time is almost exactly the same. So it burned about 20 seconds longer. Woo, woo! So, so on that whole thing, the only thing I gained by adding 20% of this 91% isopropyl is I gained another 20 seconds on the burn time, which one way or the other, if you burned the regular heat again, it might burn 20 seconds longer, and this might burn 20. So basically, no difference whatsoever. So I guess it's safe to say you can add 20% ISO to your fuel, 90%, with just to add it, just to extend it. Has no effect on it whatsoever. So next time, next video, we'll go to 30%. See if that makes any difference. Fun stuff. I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Try to have a really great day and try to have some fun today. You deserve it. Bye-bye.